Islam Morris. Uh, Shoot, if y'all been following Canaan Land Morris, the tides are turning slowly but surely. Let me give a shout out to Grand Sheik Kujo IYL for putting this movement into the proper perspective that it needed to get put into. Basically, throughout the past 4 years, we haven't been having problems with any other people in the so-called conscious movement or the awakening movement. I like to call it the divine and national movement. You know, we haven't been having any problems from any non-Moors. The most of the content has come from so-called Indians, but I think as of now, after we did the show exposing who Quetzalcoatl really was, and we're gonna go back in on that because I ain't get to go all the way in. After we did that show, the so-called Indians, Aboriginal, Indigenous, they did a video where a Tanchanist one, Islam to that more, where he was on his own channel actually saying that he was Ahua El now. So Ahua El instead of a Tanchanist one. So when he presented his position of being an El, none of the Indian guys jumped on him as they jumped on Cujo. But Cujo just posted about a 2-hour-long class that he had with these guys, talking about their position and Cujo's position as it forms to law, indigenous and natural law. So that would go into international law and natural law, which is Muslim law. So basically, when I listened to the whole thing, they had no disagreements with Cujo. Everybody was letting him get his words out. They were more adherent. So somebody must have got a order to follow or something, because it was so opposite than this the other times. But it seems like to me they were following some course of authority they got given to them. Either way, it makes sense. I feel like with Moors and so-called Indians coming together as Moors, we get destroy the rest of this so-called this so-called African paradigm that's amongst us. The so-called Pan-Africans, the people saying that if you're dark, you must be from Africa. Those people, if we unite as a people together, as indigenous aboriginals, Moors and Indians, we know the history already where they called us both the same thing. First they was calling us Moors, then in 1521 they start calling us Indians. And then from then on out, it's been a fight for Moorish identity. So what we have got through the Indians is that you're not losing your identity as a so-called Indian or a tribal affiliation or whatever have you. All you're doing is dressing that in more. So basically what you're doing is, if you want to be a Anianwea, aka Cherokee, you have to be a Moorish Anianwea, which puts you into the treaty that was signed that gets us out of jurisdiction of any United States entity. And tonight, I don't care if I got to do 3 or 4 videos, I will make it plain tonight what that treaty was really about. Because I think at this time, it's the point to make, and it's pertinent, because after that conversation I heard with Cujo and the Aboriginals, it's time now to come out with a treaty. As you know, our minds move in cycles. Not everything is permissible for that current mind state, but in time, rest assured, it will be for that current state of mind. So that's, I'll just be trying to fill out the times, fill out the energies, Listen to the ancestors, especially the mothers, how to move. If y'all look at the colors of my videos, it's always going to show you the divine entities is always moving around me. You see that just now. Listen, our entities show themselves in forms of light. So when you see videos and lights is flashing all around a person's face, that means they protected. They good. But let me not get off course. I'm just feeling real good tonight. Like, I'm feeling real good. I'm feeling like there's been a unity formed, a family formed in the cosmos. And you, people are watching, you have yet to realize this. We have formed a new family group. And a new us, if you will. I'm excited about that. Because I feel like with all this coming for us, or to us, in this current paradigm and future, this new addition or extension to the divine family of Asa, aka Amexem, you know, that is it's very pertinent right now. So how we gonna do this? We do it like this. I want to go back to them treaties, cause I've heard a lot of Indians divulge their understanding of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, 1787. Let's not get it confused with the Tripoli Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1796. You know, let's be very, very, very in context when we speak of treaties and agreements that allow United States to be a so-called government in this land. They act as government. They're only government because of the words of the people. So they are de facto government ever since they started in 1786. The treaty was signed on 1786. And what this did was recognize so-called United States as a business, a group of businessmen doing business on our land in Americas, or Americana, or the Amarak, or the Republique Societas et al. Moricanos. You know, they were recognized as government when we signed our treaty, or they adhered to our treaty for them to get us a constitution. So basically, the point I want to get to is go look at that Treaty of Tripoli, 1796. You can go on Google, type in the Treaty of Tripoli, 1796. It'll pop up, Yale.com. You'll see the link. It'll be right in front of you. You go to that, right? Go to the 11th article, Article 11 of the Treaty of Tripoli, 1796. Article 11 speaks of how United States of America was never known as a Christian nation, but it was known for having business and having relationship with so-called Muslims and people who followed and adhered to the Mohammedan laws, which would be Muslim laws, Moroccan laws. Don't get confused with Muhammad. Don't get confused with none of that. Muhammad just means praiseworthy. So the people of the world who was praiseworthy, you know, they got an adherence, just like the people who the adherence was being sent to, so-called Europeans, to basically, if you're going to go to these dominions of Sidi Muhammad, you have to take your portion of 13 colonies on the eastern seaboard, all the way on the edge of the so-called land, just for business. Most of our business came in on that side, on the eastern seaboard, through those 13 colonies. The first boats you would see would be coming in through there. So we set them up on our eastern seaboard to do administrative business for the inbound commerce that was coming into our land or our dominions. That's who the United States is. They're a business company. That's all they are. That's all they will ever will be. So when they're trying to hit you with laws and rules and put you in jail and take your stuff away and take your house, they have no jurisdiction to do that. Why? It's pursuant to the United States Code 22, Chapter 2, which deals with consular courts, subsection 141 to 143. Read all of that so you can understand why we call ourselves Moroccan and Moors and Moorish as opposed to English, Christian, and Cretan. We not none of that. Okay? So, to wrap this up, because where I'm getting it, I want to keep all my joints around 12. That's a divine number. So, when we get to the Treaty of Tripoli, peace and friendship, after you already know about the Treaty, no, my fault, the Treaty of Morocco, peace and friendship, 1787, when you reference that from the Treaty of Tripoli, 1796, when they say in Article 11, America, United States of America, was not founded on Christian principles. Take that to our treaty of 1787, the Treaty of Morocco, or the Sultan of Morocco with United States. You can go to the additional article. They never tell you about this. Go to the additional article. The whole point of the Treaty of Tripoli and the Treaty of Morocco, when it comes to America, aka the United States of that land called America, the whole point of these treaties was to give you distinction of what Christians are, what Moorish are, and what United States are. If you go to the additional article of the Moroccan Treaty, 1787, it tells you, and it's the whole point of these treaties, and nobody ever said this. The treaties was about the distinction of Moorish powers, Christian powers, and the United States. They are all separate entities. United States has nothing to do with Moorish powers or Christian powers because they're not Moors or Christians. United States members are not Moors or Christians. So anybody coming up to you telling you they're United States citizens and they're pale or they're dark and they say they're Christian, they are liars. They are infiltrators in our land.